Many women today are grappling with the question, should I stay home and take care of my child or go back to work full time and have someone else to help me when I'm away to raise a child? And in this society that has so many issues, and we want to try our best to raise our children in the right way, this is such a dilemma for so many women. So today I'll share my story and what made me choose to stay at home, which is the decision I made finally. So come along with me, and if you're in that position and you're wondering what decision to make or why people even ever make such a decision, if you're in that stage of your life where maybe you're making you desire to make that choice or you're confused about it, maybe this will help shed some light on where you might want to be or not want to be. So come along and enjoy. Welcome to Oak Mama's channel. My name is Florence Omboy, and we call this the nest for young wives and young moms, where you experience growth in purpose, in marriage, and in motherhood. So, welcome. I want to go back to my story from when I was quite young, because I believe that all those experiences have helped to shape my decisions currently. So I was born to two parents who have been very dedicated to raising us together with my three siblings. My mom was a working mom, and growing up, all around me, all I saw were working moms. I did not know anybody who was not a career woman. And so the concept of stay at home by then was totally foreign to me until I went to university, and that's when I first encountered such a concept. So growing up, one of the beautiful memories I remember with my mom is when she'd sit down with me, and there were these competitions for children, like writing competitions, art competitions, especially writing competitions. And she'd actually take me through to see how I could participate in them. That is one of the beautiful memories I remember. So she'd sit down with me and help me, come up with something. And at that time, I never won, which was a bit discouraging. But guess what? Later in life, later on, actually, I joined boarding school quite early at in class 3. Those days we used to call it class 3, that's primary level. And later on, in high school and also in campus, I actually participated in similar competitions now at that level and won both nationally and internationally. And looking back, I think my motivation came from that experience when I had time with mom and guiding me even to try such a thing, and I got to experience that. And so later on, I discovered I could actually try, and I won. So thanks, mom, for that. So going back, yes, that's how I grew up. My mom luckily has been a teacher, and so my parents were quite intentional. So even if for most hours of the day they were not there, they were working, but towards the evening hours, my mom would do her best to be home early, and at least we got some hours with her, and that was good. And so I'm eternally grateful for that. So going on to growing up, I experienced quite some challenges though. I'll share my testimony about that and the challenges I went through as a child. I went through quite some number of insecurities and fear. I went through a lot, and it has been something I battled at that time, and even now some anxieties I still battle. But I wouldn't know what was the source of all that, and so many other things that I had to overcome, which I will share in my testimony soon, in a video wholly dedicated to my testimony, even of how I came to know the Lord. But today I just want to share the part about how now I came to know about being stay at home and what influenced my decision to become one. So fast forward to university, and I met this young man who we became friends with, and I used to admire how close he was with his sibling, his sister, and how he talked about his family. And as I probed more and more, just to get to know more about how their family was, because their family is close knit, and it was so beautiful, even just to hear about how they share experiences, they share family time. And I got to learn that his mom was a stay-at-home mom, and that was the first time I ever got to learn about someone resigning, a mother resigning when her children are born, just to be with her children, just to be able to raise them up and to be the main influencer in their lives. And so later on, still in campus, I got to join an organization that was mentoring and discipling young people like me, young men and women in campus. In that organization, again, I got to meet with women who, young mothers, young wives, and some not very young, but who had dedicated themselves to service in the kingdom of God, especially through discipling their own children. And this was possible through being present full time. I realized that I had a burden for families, and I had this desire that one day, if I have a family, if I have a husband and children, that family will be close knit, will be loving one another. The children will come to know the Lord from a young age and grow in the right way, in discipline, in character, grow in character, knowing the Lord and serving the Lord. And just a beautiful picture of a home and a family. And that was my desire. And so through that organization, I came to meet ladies who were learned, yes, had got their degrees, but they purposely chose to stay at home for the main purpose of being able to disciple their children when they are young. And so also for the purpose of mission work, some of them actually were doing mission work in places, in remote places. And so for the sake of keeping their family together, they decided to leave other things, other ambitions, career-wise, and to make serving their family and growing their family their main ambition. And so that really inspired me, because I could see the fruits of their labor in their children, how their children were socializing with others, how they were speaking about God and relating with God and with other people. And that was quite inspirational to me. Before all that, I was quite the career person, not the career person per se, but my vision or my ambitions before were to be out there. I had never, as I said before, I had never heard of the concept of stay-at-home mom. And so I always knew that I'd be a working mom, working in maybe the biggest companies around. That was my ambition, earning good money, and traveling as much as possible, and that was my goal. Up until I learned about how much being present in a child's life from when they are young, especially in their younger ages, and being, present as much as possible is so influential in how they develop, in how they think, in how they develop their mindsets. And so that began to make a shift in my mindset. Apart from that, finally, now when I was preparing for marriage, I got married 1 year after my university studies, after I had graduated. And during that year, I did a lot of studying, studying how to be a wife, studying how to be a mother, but mostly a wife. I think those two go hand in hand. And yes, I as I was preparing and studying, I remember I felt God leading me through those books I was studying, God leading me to be more present and more available as a wife and as a mom. And I felt that conviction to be able to stay at home or to be available full time somehow. I did not know how it was going to play out, but somehow to make myself available to serve my family, and especially to disciple my children, our children, in the ways of God. I remember also when I was in campus, I just remembered. One time I went to the library and I studied environmental science, and I was going to do some research in that line, but somehow I ended up getting a book on something to do with psychology and childcare. And in that book, there was that doctor who was I think a psychologist. He was sharing about the importance of presence, especially of a mom. I'm not negating a dad's presence. A parent's presence is so important, and if a mom is able to be available, wonderful. So the doctor was sharing about how how a family setup is, and sometimes we have a case. He gave an example of where a family has 3 children, and so the first child comes home from school, and they open the door and they don't see anybody. So the first thing they do is call out, "Mom!" And so when the mom is upstairs doing some chores, and she calls back, "Yes," or "I'm here," and the child feels at home and they're satisfied and they go on to do what they were doing. And the second child comes in and does the same thing, calls out, "Mom!" First thing, when he hears the response, he's satisfied. And the third one, and finally, even when the husband comes home, and they feel settled when they realize that the wife is around or the mom is around. So what this story simply spoke to me is that the importance of the presence, especially of a mom in children's lives, brings a sense of security in their children, brings that being that settledness, and is able to mold children in a powerful way. And so finally, I made my decision, and it's been a decision I have to keep on making, and that's why I titled this video "Why I Choose to Be a Stay-at-Home Mom," because it's a decision I have to keep making every time. It has not been an easy walk because of the pressures out there and a lot of myths and misconceptions about what being a stay-at-home mom is, and I'll tackle that in a different video. I'll tackle the topic about the misconceptions and the myths about being a stay-at-home mom and what is actually the true case. I want people to understand what it really means to be a stay-at-home mom and what are the things that people think are true but are not true about being a stay-at-home mom. I want to demystify what it is all about. And so I'll tackle that quite soon, so keep your eyes on that. But one of the things I have really appreciated about being home is being able to spend maximum time, quality and quantity time with my family, with my husband, and with my children. Being able to, share their experiences, to see their milestones step by step, being able to do things for them that I could have delegated. But I thank God for that opportunity because it's God given, it's special, it's a privilege to be able to be there to take care of them, to take care of their bodies when they are young, even those daily routines, daily tasks. Actually, I have a playlist on baby care. If you're maybe a first-time mom or first-time parent and are wondering how, or you're preparing to be a mom, I have a playlist on baby care which I'll attach here about how I wash my baby even before they can sit, how I massage my baby, how I dress my baby, what I do when my baby has a flu. All those things I have been able to do on a daily basis because of being home, and it's quite a privilege for me, and I thank God for it. I know it's a big challenge for working moms, and by working moms I mean moms who are working outside of home. And in this channel, I'll be also bringing working moms to also share their experiences so that both stay-at-home moms and working moms, all young moms, will be able to grow through this channel. So that is my story about how I got to be a stay-at-home mom. I feel that it is God's. I felt the conviction to be at home at least for a good season when my children are young. I wouldn't say I know how long that will be because it's a journey, and as my children are growing up, I believe at some point, as the Lord enables me or as the Lord shows me, I'll be able to know when to disengage. But I just want to enjoy this season, being in this season, because being able to be here to watch them grow, to watch their milestones, to get quality time with them, to discipline them, to to grow with them in this stage, the formative years. And I'll be sharing more as we go along about how that has been, the benefits I have seen, and also the benefits that research has talked about, for being able to stay at home with one's child. So in one of the next videos, I'll share what are the benefits I have seen and that research has talked about, and what are the challenges of being at home, and that also that other stay-at-home moms have experienced. So I'll share this also in one of the next videos, but so far I hope this video has been a blessing to you. So if you're at that point of making that decision, should I go back to work away from home, or should I be home? I just want to encourage you to, especially as a woman and as a couple, pray about it and seek God about it, because God is the God of all seasons, and He knows where you're meant to be at what time. And that is where I have my hope, that being a God of all seasons, He's able um, to mold every circumstance towards where He wants you to be at that time. And so really seek Him to know where He would have you be in this season when your children are young. And um, He will guide you. I know He will guide you. For me, that conviction came so strongly, so strongly. There are times I have tried to step out and to be in a different place, to work outside from home, but as it turned out, things didn't work out so well. And also my personal, that personal, I don't know how even to put it, but have you ever experienced a personal, conviction, or that peace, that, yeah, let me call it the inner peace about something that you're so convinced about, and also circumstances keep working towards making it work, even though sometimes, a lot of the times, there is pressure from the outside, but from inside of me, there is that deep conviction, and God has always provided everything we need. And I don't know how how else to put it, but I want to encourage you, if you're in that place of making that decision, pray and seek God for the answer. And once He gives you the direction to go, once He gives you that peace about the direction to go forth with courage and boldness, and stand for what the Lord has told you to do. And of course, really, as a couple, it's so important to be in agreement. So I pray that you will seek God together for that answer as a couple. So that's my story. Thank you so much for being with me up to this point. And I'd like to invite you, if you have not subscribed to the channel by now, please subscribe. I assure you there'll be many great things to learn from, to share in, to grow together. If you're a young parent, if you're a young mom, or if maybe you're not even a mom but a young wife, come along. Every day of the week, I'll be having something interesting for you. We'll be reading books together. Yes, you heard me right. We'll be reading books together. So we'll be going through different books in different seasons, where I share, every week I share about a chapter. I give a summary about a certain chapter of a book that can impact our lives, to grow us in different aspects of our lives, whether it's marriage, whether it's leadership, whether it's effective habits, books that will empower us. So on Mondays, that's what I'll be doing, and I'll be sharing also environmental tips for households, things that can help us and help our environment to be better, every Tuesday. On Wednesdays, I'll be sharing about my life as a farmer's wife. So I'll be sharing the chronicles of a suburban farmer's wife. So look forward to that. That will be great. That will be interesting. That will be fun. That will be exciting. So keep your eye on that. And on Thursdays, I'll be sharing a nugget about marriage. On Fridays, I'll be sharing about motherhood and about parenting. So stay tuned. On Saturdays, for those who are fans of art, come along, and I'll be sharing clips on some of the artwork that I do, and you can join in and be inspired, be motivated, and try it also whenever you can. So stay tuned, and I really look forward to growing together with you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. God bless you, and lots of love.